Live trained.
So in this segment of the video, I'm going to actually train Ashley how to do marker training. It sounds very simple, but there's a lot of detailed nuances to it. So what I'd like you to do is just put a little bit of food to his nose. I want to make sure that he's motivated, like he knows the plastic bag. And the mistake that folks make is they're clicking and feeding simultaneously. I want you to click, wait 1 second, and then dispense the food. That separation in time is crucial for conditioning to occur.
Okay.
So he's a little bit distracted, so just put some food to his nose.
Hey.
He knows it's there, so you're gonna click and then open,
Good
right?
boys.
And sometimes how we distribute the food is important. If you try
Like
to get
that.
like through your fingers, sometimes you have to make a little bowl out of your
Okay.
hand. Yep, so click and give him some food.
Good boy.
So now as you're feeding, kind of just move away from him, right? So we're gonna create a little engagement right there, click, yep.
Good boy.
And just kind of move that way too. Just be mindful of the camera there.
Good boy.
And I can see that you've trained sit because he's not so willing to leave the sit, right? Because he knows it pays very
Yep.
well. So that's exactly, we want that little forward engagement, right? Perfect.
Good boy.
That's great. Very good.
Good boy.
Yeah, so that was a little simultaneous. So it's hard. I sometimes catch
Yeah.
myself. You want to click,
Okay.
feed. Because what the dog will do, he'll
I'll do
fixate on the hand. And we call that gestural communication, a lot of times tactile communication, where that's their primary source of how they communicate.
Okay.
They read body language better than anybody. There's no creature on earth that studies, reads, and cohabitates with a human and like really analyzes them like a dog. It's a very unique relationship that God created. They're
Yeah.
hyper vigilant and watching. While they have an audible communication system of howling, barking, whining, growling, things like that, the primary way they study humans is through nonverbal body language. So if your hands are moving as you're clicking, the clicking gets drowned out a little bit. So you want
Okay.
the noise,
And
well,
then
like your
go.
vending machine.
Okay.
Hit the button, the food comes out,
Okay.
right?
Good boy.
Perfect, good.
Good boy. Oh, you dropped one.
That's a good call. So now I'm seeing that you actually can lure him into the down. So let's do that. So I'll just make him move a little bit. So what we try to do is separate the behaviors, right? We don't want them going from sit to down. It's a very common thing because when you do put the dog in a sit and you reward it, dragging him into the down is pretty easy.
Yep.
But what happens is sit is a very temporary position for a dog. It's like a track runner starting position. They're not going to naturally hang out there for long periods, where down is a much more comfortable position.
Yep.
I've obviously see you've done a lot of reps of sit. So let's focus more on the down. So let me show you a little bit how that's going to look. Put a couple
Okay.
pieces in my hand, no problem. Then I'll take the clicker.
Like
So what we're going to do is just drop the leash a little bit. Here, buddy, I got the goods now. Hey, I got you.
Thanks.
I got you. So what I do is I take a knee. Now I change my position of my feeding to like this little funnel here. What that does is going to get his nose towards the ground, and as soon as he hits the deck, I pay him. If I'm paying with the food with my palm up, see what it does to his head? When I make this little opening and I go towards the ground, it's much more easy for his nose and his chin to be in line with his spine to get down.
Okay.
What we have to do in our training system is have a word that means you're done with the job. And we call that a release, and I use the word free. Free. So I let him chase a piece of food, and naturally he may come back into my space looking for the bigger prize.
Yep.
He connects, I lure him to the ground, sometimes a little shoulder tip pressure, and then as soon as he hits, it's over. Now, do you see him scratching with his paw? Have you taught him paw?
He knows high five.
Right. So it's a really cute behavior, but that's where you see it get displaced.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that. It's actually a negotiating behavior.
Okay.
He's going, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. You don't mean all that. So again, I want him out of the sit. Now he's out of the sit. Now let's see if we can get you positioned for the camera a little bit better, right? So we just wait him out, right? The pawing is not effective. Good. I wait. This is why clear communication is important. If he thinks that part of the paw is part of the game, he's going to keep pawing for the rest of his life. So we want to make sure he's collapsed, paws on the ground, stabilized, and that's what I'm marking. You can be
Okay.
extremely precise, like a surgeon being precision, like of the exact behavior we're looking for. So I'll take a little bit more food. Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. I was actually going to do that anyway. So again, chuck a little bit. That gets him very motivated, right, to come back. So I'll actually throw that way so he comes back towards me. he's gonna be done hunting. And I only try to throw one piece of food.
Okay.
2 stuck to my fingers that time, right? And it becomes a hunting exercise. I want him to grab the food and come flying back. Free.
So do you want him to come back?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm only throwing one piece. I want him to come back for the big prize, right?
Yep.
And then as he connects with my hand, and see the paw is a big default, right? Super. You notice I'm not giving any commands. In modern dog training, we let the behavior occur silently.
Okay.
Because you can completely train a dog by never speaking. I've trained a lot of deaf dogs, and they don't need to hear words, right? So now he's thinking, boom. Now I'm not gonna pay that because of the paw. I'm paying that because the paw hit the ground. Free. So we don't train, we train the dogs, we wait till the behavior is 100% predictable. Like there's still a lot of work to do to get that paw
Yeah.
out of the picture. And I'm gonna wait him out here. He's a brilliant dude. He's gonna say, hey, what was I doing the last time I got paid? What I gotta do to open that hand? And that's the answer, right? So we're talking about thousands of repetitions.
Yeah.
What science tells us, it takes between 6,000 and 8,000 repetitions to create a learned behavior.
Okay.
That's with a captive audience who's motivated and willing to learn. It's a lot of time in the trenches. So for me as a professional who's been doing this 30 years, it takes me 6 weeks to train a dog fully off leash.
Oh, wow.
Thousands and thousands of repetitions every day. I take Sundays off, so free. We'll take a little bit more food.
Before he sees.
So those are the subtle nuances, especially of down. Good. We want him, you know, a lot of times if he's rude and pushy for food later, we can condition him to not be.
Okay.
In the beginning, we actually want him a little bit pushy and motivated. Because when a dog, we call it ignition, when he's super motivated for
So
it.
what if they like jump?
Yeah, you don't pay, right? But that's why my body language is low, right? You're tiny and he's probably gonna be taller than you at some point in time, right? So,
Yeah.
but with my body language lowered like this, he's mirroring my body language. This is actually what we call social pressure. So if you notice, if I lean towards him, it collapses him backwards, right? So they're instinctually reading my body language. And as he's maintaining the down, I'm gonna click and feed in the down. Click and feed in the down. We call this flooding. This is gonna create a lot of duration. He's gonna realize, hey, this is a spot to be. If I stay here, I get room service. It's
Yeah.
a good deal, right? So over and over, flooding. And then all dogs, because they have an adult dog, he's not quite an adult yet, have the attention span of a toddler, like a 2 or 3-year-old. So they need little mental resets, and that's where the release comes from. So I put the food to his nose, free. Even though he's doing really good, you just have to give him a break so they come back and they're refreshed for more. So in essence, that's how you do the down. Now, we are in a very distracting environment right here. So this was the cache that was keeping him motivated. So you're not gonna have any problems. And he's not done yet. He's like, hey, mama.
He wants more.
And that's where you would actually click and pay that engagement. Sorry, man, I capture the opportunity. So that's what we call lure, which means we have food in our hand. We have it easily dispensed through our fingers, whichever hand you're using, whichever fingers you're using. We're gonna connect with the dog's nose, have a magnetic attraction so we can slowly manipulate the dog's movement, and then we lure him into a position. As soon as he hits it, we're gonna click and pay. You're gonna do that repeatedly. And I'm telling you now, he's already eaten this morning. Like I'm telling you, like you said, he gets his zoomies, right? We're gonna
Yep.
connect with his nose very slowly, maybe some fingertip pressure. And as soon as his whole body hits, like again, he wants a little. Now let's say he does roll over, right? Let's say he does that. Well, we're gonna walk away. It doesn't pay,
Yeah.
right? There's no action there, right? Now he says, hey, come on back, right? He says, hey, I wasn't ready. What do you mean the rollover doesn't work? See how he's very animated with the paw?
Yep.
Because he's running through the gamut of things that have been very successful up until this point. So you have to be very conscious and aware that as he's pawing, no paycheck happens, right? He's gonna learn very quickly. Just how he's learned to manipulate you with paws and rolling over, you have to be a firm mama and say, hold your ground and say, until your belly hits the deck on the down, that's where the paycheck comes from. And that's how you use a marker to tell him, bingo, you hit the target, and how to shape the down behavior.
Live trained.